Manchester United still need a new central midfielder, and whilst there have been links to a few different players, none of them really excite me. So I thought I would find my own target. Mandela Keita, the 22-year-old Belgian central midfielder currently playing for Royal Antwerp. And he might just be the answer. So let's take a look at why. So I want to start off with Keita's work on the ball, because I think this is something which is really important to the Manchester United midfield. Kobbie Mainoo, of course, already brings a lot of strengths and a lot of ball-playing ability, but I think we need a partner that can do something very similar. We need someone who is technically very secure on the ball, comfortable receiving in the first phase. They don't necessarily have to be press-resistant, but they need to be comfortable on the ball. They need to be able to spray passes in midfield, and in my opinion, I'm kind of now leaning towards the fact that I think we need a true ball-playing midfielder, someone who can be a high-volume player, having a lot of touches on the ball. Keita could be that. And one of the reasons he could be that is because he is very, very clean on the ball, very technically secure. And one of the reasons he is so secure on the ball is because of the way that he scans before receiving possession. So in a situation like this, we can see the ball coming in from wide. And as he receives the ball, as the ball is rolling towards him, he just has this quick look over his shoulder. Quick look to see where the opposition player is. Now what this does is it means that as this player comes towards him, he already knows where he's going to be. He knows that these players are coming in from this angle. So for Keita, it's pretty easy from there. He knows that he has to take the touch this way in a safer direction, away from the opposition, allowing him to move the ball that way for his side. But importantly, he is keeping the ball. Keita is a very good player at keeping the ball for his team, and the reason for that is because his head is always on a swivel. He is always taking in new information. He knows where the opposition are, and therefore he knows where he needs to go. In terms of his habits, once he has actually received the ball, Keita is a player who likes to change the direction of the attack. So if his team is heavy down one side of the pitch, particularly down the left-hand side, and a lot of players are crowded over to this area, as Keita receives the ball, what he really likes to do is let the ball roll across his body, allowing him to then quickly shift the play over to the other side. So he is not happy just kind of keeping things the same. He wants to impact the ball. Even with safe sideways passing, he does want to have an impact still. And we can see it in a situation like this. We can see the whole team for Antwerp here, crowded over to one side of the pitch. As Keita receives the ball, he is going to turn his back on play to let the ball roll across his body, and very simply and very effectively, it allows him to completely change the direction of the attack. It's very simple play, but it is so effective on the ball. It allows you to change the direction of the whole move. We've got it again in a situation like this, receiving the ball from the left-hand side. He's going to turn his back on play, as such, let the ball roll across his body, and now he can move the ball towards the right-hand side. It's quite simple play, but I just feel that it is something that the United midfield currently lacks. Someone who is willing just to keep the ball moving side to side. So if he receives from the left, he's going to move the ball across towards the right-hand side of the pitch, and if he receives on the right, he's going to move the ball towards the left-hand side. That's what United needs, someone who keeps it ticking over. Keita is a player who really could develop into someone who is the perfect dictating midfielder, because his passing range is very strong, as we'll come on to, but in terms of on the ball, he's agile, he can change direction. He's just all round really, really secure in possession, and I love that. We can see some of Keita's ball retention numbers rolling through on the FBref reports on screen right now. Keita is a player who is effectively just great at keeping the ball for his side, but he can be progressive as well. We've seen already that he likes to change the angle of attack by moving the ball from one side to the other. He also actually wants to be progressive himself. He wants to fire balls through the lines if he can, but also actually long passes as well. And that kind of follows on from the traits we've already seen. The idea of letting the ball roll across your body. So as the ball comes from shore, he's going to scan, see this player near him here. He's going to see this player near him. As he receives the ball, he's going to let it roll across his body, as we've already seen. And then from here, he does have a brilliant long pass in his locker. Now, he doesn't actually use this as much as I would like currently, but I think if he was to use it more moving forward, it could become a really useful weapon, because we can see the effects of it here. He receives in the middle of the park. He drops a shoulder, and he's going to scan quickly, see where the player is, before letting the ball roll across his body onto his stronger right foot. And then we get the big old switch of play out to the right hand side. And again, it's just an incredibly effective way of getting the ball moving forward in a certain direction. A direction dictated by Keita, and that's the key word here, dictating. Keita can become that midfielder, someone who dominates and controls the ball and basically decides where it goes. It's all done on his terms almost. I just quickly wanted to interrupt the video there to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, jerseyfifa.com, the home of affordable football kits. If you use the link in the description down below, you will find yourself a website which has all of the newest releases. home shirts, away shirts, and actually even old classic shirts as well. And if you don't actually want to wear the shirt yourself, I've heard they make a pretty good background display as well. So if you want to get yourself a shirt, use the link in the description and use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off your order. Go check it out. Now, when it comes to the numbers behind Keita's ball progressions, things don't actually look too great. But when you actually watch him, you see something very different. The stats look quite average, quite mediocre. On the ball, I think there is something quite special there with Keita. I think it's a case of giving him the tactical role and the tactical freedom to let him do it. Let him be a progressive midfielder, because I think he has all the traits. Now, one of the reasons he has these traits, and this ability to quickly speed up and change the speed of the game to progress the ball, is actually because of all the work he's done already. You see, what we've seen so far is that he is a player who scans pretty well, he understands where the opposition are coming from, he's going to let the ball roll across his body, and then he's going to play a fairly safe pass, either sideways to a right back, or even the long switch. Whilst it is effective, he is reasonably safe. And the opposition know this, so as Keita receives the ball, especially as the game goes on, teams adapt, teams adjust, and they understand that he's going to let the ball roll across his body, so they need to use that as the trigger to go and get him. This is where Keita is very intelligent. He uses all the work that he has done so far to his advantage to manipulate the opposition. So take this situation here. We've seen this a couple of times already. He's receiving the ball from the side of the pitch into the centre of the park. Now, what he has done every time so far is taken a touch with the far foot, if you like. So if he's received from the right, he's taken a touch on the left foot to let the ball roll across his body and change direction. You will notice by now, this stage of the game, the opposition are aware of this. And they start shifting over. They start shifting their body language as though they are about to deal with Keita moving across the pitch, the opposite way to which it just came. But this is when we see agility. This is when we see intelligence and just brilliant ball movement, really. Because what Keita quickly does is he drops the shoulder. He drops the right shoulder and shifts the other way, and now once again, completely changes the dynamic. This is really effective, and this is one of the reasons why I think he could become a top ball progressor. Because we're only seeing this in glimpses at the moment, but the agility, the low centre of gravity, despite being 6 foot, is definitely there. He's very effective at changing direction, and it reminds me a little bit of Basuma, particularly when he was at Brighton, the way that he used to play, kind of largely keeping things safe, and then suddenly switching it up with that ability to change direction and manipulate the ball, manipulate the opposition and move the ball forward. Keita is great at this. He's also progressive with his passing as well, though. This again is a real strength of his, moving the ball forward through the lines. Now, this can be in deeper phases of play. For example, he might receive the ball from a centre-back. He's going to get the ball in the half-turn, again, like we've seen a lot, and then fire a ball forward through the lines. So he could do it in deeper areas, but he can also do it higher up as well, against a compact block. We're not going to move the opposition for it on this occasion. But imagine these players in black are deep. They're behind the ball, trying to reduce the spaces between the lines. Keita, because of his ball manipulation, which we've already seen so far, the usage of his body, the ability to play with both feet, he is able to manipulate and then fire a ball forward through the lines into the feet of the striker. And you guessed it, we've got more examples of it. So on the first occasion is going to be the deep phase. He's eventually going to receive the ball from the goalkeeper, and what he's going to do is take one touch and then fire this ball forward through the lines. You can see how many players he is taking out of the game with this pass, and it allows his striker, with one quick flick, to bring the next player into the game. Imagine that sort of dynamic with Joshua Zirkzee dropping in. Really exciting, really exciting. We've got it higher up the pitch as well, though. Here, just a little bit higher. He's going to receive the ball in the centre of the pitch once again. He's going to drop that shoulder, get on the half turn, and play the ball forward. And again, on this occasion, you can see just how many players are completely destroyed by the fact that he has played this pass. And as it comes through, we get a clearer picture of it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opposition players he has taken out of the game with one straight pass. And that's what I love about it. He does all his work in the centre of the pitch here. He doesn't move too far left. He doesn't move too far right. He sits in the middle of the pitch and truthfully just dictates the game. Whether that be with safe lateral passes or vertical passes, he's doing everything at his speed, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. He's also good defensively as well, though. Now, when it comes to Keita, I wouldn't describe him as an elite level ball winner, and he's also not an elite level ground coverer either. But overall, he's a very competent defender. We can see in the stats he is more than happy to go engage in these tackles. He's happy to get stuck in and he wants to be involved. In terms of his tackling technique, at times he pulls out a little bit too much. You know those contacts where you've got two players going 50-50 for one ball and you see one player just pull his foot out at the last second? Keita does that a little bit too much. And if he was to adapt to the Premier League to the required standard, he would have to improve it. To be a ball-winning midfielder, he would have to improve his defensive side of the game, be a little bit stronger in the tackle, and also at times, perhaps, switch on with his intelligence in the box as well. At times, he can drift off a little bit. He can switch off. For example, if one of his centre-backs has stepped out to cover, he is required to sit back into centre-back. Therefore, he can switch off as this player gets the ball here. This player can kind of drift off the back of him. Now, that's to be expected. He's only 22 years old. He's not a centre-back. He's a deep midfielder. He's a ball-playing midfielder. But I think if it was to work at United, he would need to improve his defensive side of the game. The other concern would be aerially as well. Now, so far in the Belgian league, aerially, he has performed incredibly well. My concern is that going to transmit to the Premier League? The Premier League, a very physical league, a lot of big, tall players. Particularly over the past few seasons, we've seen a lot of big strikers coming back into the game. Is he going to be able to adapt to that? We don't know. Of course, that's not a stick we should use to beat him with. It's just a question mark. Is he going to develop in that area? Is it going to transmit to the Premier League? If it did, then brilliant. He's done very well aerially so far in his career, and that could be perfect for what United need in midfield. So as a sort of conclusion on Keita, I think this is a really good player. A very strong player. I like a lot of what he does. On the ball, I think he is nearly perfect for what we need to complement the best of Kobbie Mainoo. He is secure in the first phase. I think he is press resistant. I do believe that. He is two-footed with the ball. He can pass with both feet. He can move the ball laterally from side to side. He has a good understanding of tempo and rhythm, when to move forward and when to play it safe. But when it does come to moving forward, he is more than comfortable doing that. Extremely confident with the passes through the lines, with the long passes over the top as well. On the ball, he can do a little bit of everything that we need next to Kobbie Mainoo. The question would be defensively. Can he do the defensive work that we need? Is he a ground eater? No. So if you were to bring him into the Manchester United midfield, you probably need a slight tweak on what we do tactically. But personally, I think we need that anyway. So, should Manchester United sign Keita? 22 years old, slightly unproven considering he's playing in the Belgian league, but almost definitely less than £20 million. I would be all over this deal if I was Manchester United. Now, I must kind of say, I have only seen 7 full 90s so far. Normally, I would wait until I've seen 10 to do a video on a player. But I've liked what I've seen so much that I thought I would jump the gun and go a little bit early on this one. I'm going to watch more footage, so if you guys want another video on it, do let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know, have you seen him before? If you have seen him before, do you think he is right for what United need? If you haven't seen him before, are you going to go and watch him based on what I've said? And based on what I've said, is he the sort of player that we need? Let me know what you think in the comments. In terms of today's video, we're going to wrap up there, because like I said, I've only seen 7 games, I have more to learn, but I thought I would let you guys know who I've got my eye on, because he looks really good. He looks really good. But yeah, we're going to finish there. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.